because the times are different. So he needs to be a little more understanding. The pants are tighter. You know what I mean? The shirts are slimmer. We're getting tattoos. Things are different. So you can't say the same things had his dad saw him do what I'm doing in the 60s and 70s. It would have been like, boy, you know?
Oh, me, I think you're ready to have a kid.
Yeah, bro. Just go ahead and make it happen.
I got y'all.
This is gonna be a breeze.
How was your day? Good. Okay. 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 No.
What's up, guys?
How was it?
No.
Every morning you have two choices. Continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. On this channel, we're choosing to chase them. I'm connecting with some pretty cool dream chasers and getting all in their business. They say millennials always have something to say. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to my channel, guys. As you can see from the title, we're talking about fatherhood, and we're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna go on you first because you have a son, right?
Yeah.
So, and they have girls, so we're gonna go at you first. So,
I love you.
So I was watching this Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith and her daughter and her mother, and they asked her if she wanted to have kids. They asked Willow, and she said she was nervous to raise kids in our society now. Like she was like nervous about that. And so, being that you have a black man you're raising, like, does that play a factor?
It's different.
Okay.
Because you don't want to like censor him, but at the same time to go through life and think that everything is the same for you as it is for them. I'd be remiss after having been through just the inkling of life that I've been through and not put that in him early. Now, I'm not saying I make him racist or anything like that. No, he's very diverse. We preach love, period.
Right.
But on the outside of those walls that we control are a lot of factors that you don't control.
Absolutely.
And as a parent, that's all you want your child to be able to do is when life comes, handle your business.
Right. So with daughters, what is like in your brain now about like, okay, I'm raising a female in this community, in this society? What do you think?
It's a double whammy. Like, we want to say we understand what women go through, but I'm sure we really have no choice. I mean, it's double minority as a black woman in today's society.
Right.
So all I can do now, of course, as small as she is just start showing her the genuine affection and love and attention that she's going to be getting from me for the rest of her life to be representative of what she should be feeling. And then, of course, it's going to have to be a new way of raising her, like a new way of raising her to become, you know, not only compassionate as a woman, but just being able to stand your own ground, speak up for what you believe in, and you know, start thinking not just as a woman, but thinking as a person.
As a person, right?
Overall. So it's gonna be tough, but
absolutely,
it's necessary.
For me, man, it's like a mixture of what these two guys said. And what I kind of try to do is I try to make sure that I absorb as much knowledge as I can, so that when it does, like when she does get up to a point where I can have conversations with her, I can, you know, break it down for her on a level that, you know, maybe my mom or my dad can break it down for me.
Yeah.
So for me, man, it's just like at all times making sure that I'm prepared, so that when times do come when I have to tell her, like, you know, this is what this means, and this is what that means, you know, I'm somewhat confident in my answers, and I can just kind of push it through her.
For sure.
Yeah.
So does how you guys were parented affect your parenting?
Yeah.
In what ways?
For me, my father wasn't in my life as much as I would have liked him to. So I think because of, you know, the way I was brought up, that's really sensitive for me.
For
So
sure.
like if I'm at, you know, my shop for too long, or if I'm out with friends, or if for some reason I start feeling like, yo, I'm not spending enough time with my daughter, I think like initially I just get crazy, like, because I kind of, you know, I've been through that before, and I don't want her to go through something like that, man. So
yeah,
for me, it's just kind of like time management and just making sure that, how can I put it, she's not feeling like neglected any type of way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's real. I connect with that in the sense that, she is everything to me in the fact that when I'm outside of my house, when I'm going through the daily stresses of life and I'm gone for a while, similar to you, it's like what grounds me in reality is being present for my daughter. And that goes back to how I was present when Pops was around, but he wasn't really present. What I had was like my grandfather, my mother, and the people that were always there for me. And so that's something that's really important to me. Yes, granted, she's 5-6 months now. I believe it's something that will still eventually affect her. So the biggest thing is being present, being in the moment, and overall just being there for her. And a lot of what you said earlier in the sense of just instilling a lot of those values and great things that I got from my mother while she was parenting me.
Yeah.
On her.
Right. All right. I get it.
So my family all laugh at me now because they're like, I always heard growing up, you tell me how I son. You tell me how I son. And I have truly become my father.
Oh, you're Tommy Hall's son.
Yes.
Okay.
You Tommy Hall's son. Too much of my Savannah came out just then. You Tommy Hall's son.
Okay.
But so I always had this high regard for my dad. He was around. He was there.
Yeah.
As much as he possibly could be outside of work. Pops was there.
Right.
So that really set the tone. But I think his input as far as discipline and just perspectives on life are the things that stuck with me the most.
Right.
And I honestly can truly say I wouldn't be who I am today legitimately if it wasn't for that. And I wouldn't even be half the father that I am. Because there are just certain things he instilled in me that, aligned with just manhood in general and fatherhood. He was like, you can't, honestly, to a certain extent, you can't have one without the other.
Okay.
And he's like, if you're a man, you have a child, you're a father, you don't do your business, you're not a man. And I always took that to heart because I was just like, of course I was sadly but surely, it was about 50-50 in regards to my friends, coming from single parent households and, 2-parent households. Yeah. And you see some differences, but it always makes me have a firm appreciation. And those are things that I try to pass on to my little boy, because my child, how old is your daughter?
3.
She's 3, and you said a couple months?
6 months.
6 months. Y'all still having fun. My baby's 5. He has a whole opinion.
Right.
You feel me? Like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
I was at a work event, and I made a face at something another adult said, and Christian's teacher said, hold that face for 1 second. She went and grabbed his co-teacher and was like, that's who Christian looks like. Because any other time he looks like my wife.
Right.
But when I made that face, and that same face, his grandfather makes it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I see it.
Yeah.
And he's only in pre-K.
Right.
So to know that I already have that type of impression on him, I couldn't imagine not being there. I mean, in the beginning, I was working in Savannah and coming back to Atlanta. So being there meant something.
For sure.
Anybody ever drove on 16 knows that being there really meant something. And that was every week.
Yeah.
Had to be there. Because that was where work was. But those are the type of things that I got from my father. You make it happen.
For sure. I think for me, my dad was like pivotal. Like he was like everything for me. You know what I'm saying? Like and I had a 2-parent dwelling, don't get me wrong, but my parents were older as well. My dad is 62 and I'm 25. You know what I'm saying? So he was a little older when he had me. And so like he was salute. Like my dog he was at every practice, everything, picked me up, drop me up. Like he was at every single thing. Even now to this day, like if I'm calling him right now, he's answering. You know what I'm saying? Like I had that. I think that really was, like you said, like instrumental in who I am today, the man I am. Forget like even outside of like me, I don't have any kids. Thank God. But like just as a man, it's helped me a lot to have my dad present, So let me ask you guys this. Do you think that the parent that your parents were to you is necessary now? I said that because times change. Like my dad, for instance, he wasn't the same dad to me that his dad was to him, right? Because the times are different. So he needed to be a little more understanding. The pants are tighter. You know what I mean? The shirts are slimmer. We're getting tattoos. Things are different. So you can't say the same things had his dad saw him do what I'm doing in the 60s and 70s, would have been like, boy, you know?
Yeah.
So you think it's still necessary for those things to kind of keep coming? Do you find yourself being like, I'm gonna leave that one, right? I'm gonna do it differently here. I'm gonna keep that, change
I
that.
think it's different because I feel like back then they were monitoring like street lights. Now, as parents, millennial parents, we're monitoring YouTube time and like tablet time. Like it's like gotta say like, yo, baby, I need you to put the tablet alone. Let's go outside for a bit.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's what I think it's because like, you know, we're going into we are in a digital age right now. And man, I can, like, my daughter's only 3. She knows how to get on my phone, unlock, like, do my passcode, get on my phone, go to the YouTube app, skip the ads, watch the video.
Like, she knows how to make it happen.
Like, and she can go for hours.
Right.
So I think it's definitely different, man. And I feel like it's just kind of based off of the times, because at all times, man, like, I guess from when our parents had parents, well, when they were, you know, brought up by their parents and so forth, like, you really just have to deal, as a parent, with the trends of the time. And I feel like there are always different trends. Like, we're going through this digital trend now. So I feel like it's all about, like, understanding as a parent what the trend is, and depending if that trend is good, if you want your child to have that trend or not, it's figuring out, okay, what's the cap on that trend, and like, what should I, you know, allow to be in their life, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's how it's different.
I agree.
Yeah, that's real. I would say there are some core fundamentals that will always remain the same.
Right.
Like when it comes to parenting, things that you get from your parents in terms of being respectful, putting family first, like constantly just putting your best foot forward. There are a lot of things that will constantly remain the same.
Right.
But now when it comes to the new age things, I'm thinking about, first of all, like as a black man, how do I make sure I make it home every day? You know, but also, you know, damn, how do I keep my daughter, even though she's young now, eventually she's gonna soon be exposed to a whole bunch of stimulus like TV, tablets. When she goes outside, she goes to daycare. Like, I can't control what's in there. So it's a matter of just starting now with kind of germs too.
Germs. That's what it is.
But it is what it is. Even when you talk about germs, like that whole idea of vaccination, and I'm talking about it because we just fresh came out of it in the sense of back in the day they gave you your set of shots and sent you on your way. Now it's a whole big debate on, damn, should we even vaccinate?
Yeah, that's a good
vaccinations.
Topic, we kind of go on a rant about that. I will say the whole terrible 2 thing did not happen until my daughter got her last vaccination. Like, we took her to the.
She was going to the.
I mean, I could be being paranoid.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's what it is. He's not going for it.
I had a 2-year-old. Like, nah. What? He was lit. Anything and everything turned. Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is, like, what? Well, this is what I'm saying. The only thing I'm saying was, man, like, I promise you, I couldn't make this up. My daughter was one way. Yeah. And then we took her to get, I think it's the hepatitis B shot.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she slept really hard for 2 days. And nothing was the same.
Still to this day.
She got, oh, she's still to this day.
Like, it was like,
okay.
That's real, and that's a real concern.
On the you know,
day and night, bro.
And that's a real concern nowadays. It's like, yo, what's the push and pull? What do you give and take? Like, whether it's vaccinations, screen time, when it comes time for her to hang outside, who she's hanging out with, all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think there's core fundamentals of parenting that we've all picked up from our own parents that you'll start seeing early. You know,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, they're just some, like I said, some of the old school was just like, it's just not even necessarily old school, it's just school. Like, just like everybody has to go through it, it's just one of those things that everybody essentially needs. Yeah. But there are definitely some things that I like pick and choose from that my father did that just aren't, you know, necessarily as applicable now.
For sure.
You know, like, because my dad's old too. My daddy was 72. I'm 28.
Yeah.
You feel me? I mean, I still got a child.
Okay.
So there. You feel me?
I see what the meetings. Where you been?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so his perspective on things was just different than what it was with, you know, my 40-some-odd-year-old brother. So.
You have a 45-year-old sister, so I get it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, for sure. Or maybe 46 now. So let me ask you this: Well, you're at 6 months, so I mean, you can still answer this kind of. But what has been your most memorable, exciting, the proudest moment, like as a father so far?
Sheesh. It's many, bro.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start.
You don't have to give me the best one. Just give me one. That way you don't feel bad.
I think I would say like 2 weeks ago. Like now, you know, I've opened up the shop, and I try my best to sneak out of the house before she wakes up. But now she's kind of in the routine, you know, okay, like around 8:30, Daddy's heading to the shop. So she wakes up and she's like, Daddy, I want to go to the shop with you. And it was, and I say that was one of the best memories, because it was like, because being a father, sometimes you realize that, or sometimes you can get in a position to where you have to do so much for your family that you can't go after your dreams as well. And the fact that, you know, my daughter can say something like that to me, you know, and I'm going out to chase my dreams, but at the same time I'm able to provide life for her, and that was just like tenfold for me, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
She wants to be involved.
Yeah, the fact that and it's the fact that, like, if I wanted to, I can take my kid to work and not have to worry about, you know, my boss saying like, why aren't your kid here?
Right. All right.
You know, that's really, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
That's what's up.
Yours is the birds, huh? What you got?
Nah, yo, every day, and I'm sure y'all can attest to this, it's like every day is a proud moment. Like when she's doing stuff on her own, she's rolled over. It's been months. She's rolled over. She's putting stuff in her mouth. She's like gaining some sort of independence.
Right.
Like I'm almost like, yo, slow down. Based on what people even say, like, yo, it flies by. But it's like every single day is something new, and it's something for me to be proud of. I was like, oh snap! But the reality kicks in, like, damn, she is getting older. So that means that's even sooner. I'm gonna have to start keeping it real and start becoming more of a real parent rather than you know, you're so beautiful. I mean, I tell her she's beautiful every day. You know, cover her in affection and everything. But then there's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna just have to really start parenting because she's hitting these milestones like crazy. So every day is an accomplishment. Especially she's starting to try to talk. She's starting to try to crawl. Making it happen. So, but eventually, like you said, you know, I'm looking forward to those moments when you know, she starts talking and having an opinion and
she gets vaccinated. Terrible twos, you know, and starts getting lit. Got it.
Man, because I mean, like I said, like he's 5, so he's discovering things in another way. He's seeing things differently, and I remember one morning he said something along the lines of, "That don't be just like you."
Yeah.
And, you know, and as a man, you know, you're always so focused on, you know, protection, provision, and we're not expected, or we don't always have to look for that pat on the back, you know, like good game, you know. And as a parent, you're gonna have more, why did you do that, before you have the good games. So the fact that, you know, I was having a why did you do that moment personally, and to see that, you know, the spitting image of myself, like the next chance at trying to do things completely right was like, I'm gonna be just like you. I was like, I'm doing something right. High five. Brush your teeth. You know, we're at that point.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I do see that now, because my dad, like, just like even me as an adult will still hit me with like, I'm just proud of you. I'm proud that you're still here. I'm proud that you're still moving. I'm proud that you're still shaking. I'm proud of the man you are, the person you are. You know what I'm saying? So I think it feels good as a son to hear it. I'm sure it feels good as a father to like hear it as well. So I find myself now being like, Dad, I'm proud of you. Like, you know, I think when we realize our parents are humans is a really, really big discovery for a lot of us. Because, you know, when you're growing up, you don't look at your parents as humans always. Sometimes it's like they don't really feel, or like, you know, I don't even say thank you for real or whatever. Because, I mean, you're supposed to do it, you know. But when you realize, dang, like, this is a person for real, you know? So what advice, I mean, you got 6 months, but you're here, you know? so what advice, even provisionally, even like pre-having a kid or like whatever, what advice would you give a person who either has a kid, want to have a kid, you know, whatever?
You gotta go first.
You got the 5-year-old. Come on, you got
to give them advice, and you got to give us advice.
Right.
Make certain that regardless of the scenario, the person that you have the child with is so integral to the development, because y'all really have to be a team.
Oh yeah.
Like above anything, above a relationship, above like anything, y'all have to be a team, because at that very moment that there's a child involved, it's no longer about.
Yeah. So y'all got lucky because all y'all still with y'all's mother, your kids.
Married. Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, that's as real as it gets. Because even if y'all beefing, at the end of the day,
Even if you're married,
what? Yep. You said it becomes your child. Like, no matter what, the child should not be affected or suffer from anything because y'all can't see eye to eye, y'all incompatible. Like, even if y'all need to figure out a dope, smooth-ass co-parenting relationship, then that's what you gotta do. Because I realized that makes a huge difference. I'm sure I would have been different if I had both parents in my household. Yeah. You know, but my mom did the best she could, and I had male figures.
You good.
I know. Put them along well. But it just ends up in the world that we're going in today, and I'm sure it's a topic for a whole nother conversation. You know, it's gonna take two of us. It's gonna take a whole village. It's gonna take a lot, you know, to get them to essentially where they need to be as a parent. For sure. I grew up in the Caribbean household, so I'm Haitian. So how I was parented and everything else is a little bit different than how most people are parented. But the biggest thing is for my daughter is to know that she has both parents in her household, and no matter what happens, like that, she'll be there overall.
Love it.
For me, it's patience. Yeah, like as a new parent or parent right now, you gotta have patience, and
which is why. Go ahead.
I mean, you know, and I've always been an entrepreneur. So before I had my daughter, I was very impatient. Like I wanted things so fast. Yeah. And then, like going back on what we were talking about earlier, as far as like memories, you know, like it's hard to choose a memory because there's so many. I think. Like before you become a parent, you take growth for granted. Like when you're a parent, you see this human who knows nothing develop so fast. It's just growth. So that's beautiful. Like it's such a beautiful thing, and it makes you feel like different inside. It makes you feel like, okay, wow, like humans are really intelligent beings, really beautiful people, like inside and out. And I think that's what it is, just being patient and trust the process. Yeah.
Basically what I got for this conversation is I'm not ready to have a kid, and Black fathers are present. So this has been really good, guys. he's like, man, I'm present at 24/7. Listen, well, thanks for coming, guys. Look out for the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.